Before I begin, I'll first speak about myself. In and around 2018, I began cooperating, and I never had any intention of being on social media, creating a blog, or a YouTube channel. Absolutely none whatsoever. What happened was another blogger who, to be honest, did not do his due diligence while researching and falsely wrote that I've been cooperating since 2016, which was totally incorrect. So I immediately reached out to the guy and told him about his inaccuracy. Instead of telling me that he would correct it, strategically, he said he'd be willing to interview me and I could correct the timeline myself. Looking back now, I should have known better and declined the offer, and in essence, entered the social media arena, or circus, as it's become. I honestly regret it on many levels. I'm sure I don't have to educate anyone about what a cesspool it truly is. I just returned from Florida for a special occasion. I actually had two on 2 different days. And I was speaking to someone about this very subject, the comedy show YouTube has become. And this person said to me, all these guys are talking about each other. Whenever someone mentions YouTube to me, for example, that they watch me, I find myself embarrassingly telling them how I can't wait to be done with all of it. Much like writing, creating videos is a form of art, as well as being therapeutic. It keeps my mind occupied. As for social media, and specifically YouTube, I set myself apart from a certain group of people. I wouldn't associate with people like that on the street, and even more so presently. And here's a good way to judge. These same people turn on each other and badmouth one another with no indictment involved. Now imagine there was an indictment. Well, you don't have to, because they showed you what they would do when faced with one. Okay, I don't want to get too far off track. You could turn on YouTube at any given time and see former members and associates yapping away. The majority of what you'll hear is nonsense, with zero educational value whatsoever. Nonetheless, there's no shortage of guys to watch, to say the least. Forget about the so-called mob experts. They don't even count. They're fanboys with a fucking microphone. Insignificant. But what a lot of people don't realize is the majority of mafia informants or cooperators are not on YouTube, nor do they appear in the media and never put themselves out there. The reason being is practical and clear. They prefer to stay low profile, under the radar, unrecognizable, and don't want to draw attention to themselves. A great deal of these guys entered the witness protection program, received new identities, and must adhere to strict guidelines and are explicitly told to avoid public exposure. While in WITSEC, being on social media or appearing on YouTube would be a violation of the rules and definitely get them expelled from the program. These are people that are living quiet lives as civilians, far away from the mob. Most are married or remarried, have kids, and normal jobs. Many even own businesses. So the last thing they want is the communities they live in to learn of their past, that they used to be in the mob, killed people, etc., and then cooperated. Someone once told me the witnesses who put the Lucchese administration away for life crawled back under the witness protection rock that they were living under. You, meaning me, get all the blowback, even though you basically only testified about structure. And essentially, you're it. Because the rest of the government witnesses that they used in that case are not on YouTube or social media. They're living lives under new names. Anyone who knows about the case can never dispute this. The government witnesses who gave testimony regarding the Michael Melnick murder were the ones who put the nails in the coffins of Matty Madonna, Stevie Creer, and Chris Londonio. And my friends, that's the hard truth. Anyway, the informants and cooperators who are not part of the social media circus sit back and watch what's going on and shake their heads. And the ongoing clown show validates their decision to stay away from YouTube, etc. One person who's in contact with a lot of these guys said that they're in disbelief by what they see and hear, which is not hard to believe. So let's go over a few of these people who were smart enough to stay away from the exposure. Joey D'Angelo, a former Gambino member who runs successful businesses, and I'm not going to say what they are, but I hear he's doing well. Peter Zaccaro, former Gambino associate, also runs a successful business, which happens to be a restaurant. Frankie Fabiano, former Gambino member, also doing well for himself. Primo Casarino, a former Gambino member, Dominic Borghese, a former Gambino member. James Cardinale, former Gambino associate. Dino Calabro, a former captain with the Colombo family. Joey Campanella, a former Colombo member. Former Colombo captain, Richie Ferrara. Former Colombo captain, Reynold Morani. Former Colombo member, Sal Michiota. Former Colombo captain, Carmine Sessa. Former Colombo captain, Frank Spiracco. Former Banano member, Vincenzo Marina. Former Banano member, Frank Cappa. Former Banano underboss, Sal Vitale. Former Banano captain, Generoso Barberi. Former Banano member, Thomas Carubi. Former Lucchese member, Thomas Ricciardi. And former Lucchese member, Vinny Salinati. And as mentioned, these are only a few of the names of people who've stayed away from the exposure social media affords you. I definitely respect them, not as cooperators and informants, but for making a conscious decision to stay out of the fray. As I've stated, a lot of these people are in the program, and that would be an automatic banishment from WITSEC. But the real reason these people stay away, or rather remain low-key, is they're watching the clown show. And I can, with unwavering certainty, state that I am not part of that clown show, despite the numerous attempts by the clowns to drag me in. What I'm about to say is something that these clowns can't seem to comprehend. I'm not the enemy. The enemies of all cooperators and informants are in the mob. So by attacking each other or targeting specific people for views, you're only doing the mob's work. But don't kid yourself, because they're laughing not with you, but at you. I'm not going to get into all of what I've been told or who told me, but certain guys in that life respect how I never entertain any of these clowns and how I expose the mob for what it truly is. In fact, the word clown show came from them, not me. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, help me to continue making them, you can donate with the super thanks icon down below or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sit Down News, especially for those of you who still enjoy reading. The site can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. I'll end with this. All of the above, which is pure negativity, is the reasons why a large group of former members at any given time can turn on YouTube and know that they did the right thing by staying far away.